Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyapta Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. I seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas present that I may be able to represent the Guru Parampara appropriately by presenting their transcendental ecstasies in the form of their purports without any adulteration, for your pleasure and for my purification. Srila Prabhupada ki. So we are continuing in this chapter entitled Ajamila Delivered by the Vishnu Dutas. So the canto that we are in is entitled, or the topic of this canto is essentially called Poshanam. First canto was, the subject matter was essentially Sthanam. Sthanam means all those various universes, planetary systems, etc., and how they're maintained by the Lord. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, the 6 factors of action, Krishna talks about Adhishtanam. So the place of action is very, very important. And therefore, Shukadeva Goswami talks about how there are so many types of sins that people may commit, and if they don't sufficiently atone before they leave the body, then they will be forced to go to these planets. This is for their punishment or purification. So, Parishit Maharaj obviously raises the question out of his compassion that most of these methods are like Kunjara Shaucha. It's like an elephant's bathing. It takes bath in the waters and then throws sand on itself. So, till the tendency to sin is rooted out, there is no point in merely atoning for those sins. So then, there are various descriptions given by Shukadeva Goswami, and exactly what the Vishnu Dutas are informing the Yamadutas, that contrary to what you think, Ajamila is not full of sin. In fact, all his aghanashanam, all his sins have already been destroyed. There is nothing left. Now one may question that by chanting the holy name, if all the sins are destroyed, then how is it that Ajamila kept maintaining his prostitute wife and continued engaging in sinful activities while chanting the holy name? So Acharya has explained that a person, a person who is predominantly following karma, dharma, yoga, etc., and also practices some bhakti, he is not fully rid of his sinful reactions. Because the Lord wants to maintain the faith in karma and jnana. Otherwise, why will people believe in karma and jnana? So to continue as an atonement for his sinful activities, that person continues with a little bit of karma and jnana which are subsidiary to originally bhakti. But as far as he is concerned, for him, bhakti is secondary. For him, karma and jnana are primary. For him, karma and jnana are primary. So to maintain the faith in the karma and jnana, the reactions to his sins, they continue. It's not that they stop. But karma and jnana by themselves do not have the strength to wipe out all the reactions. Therefore, scripture mentions in the 3rd canto, 33rd chapter, 6th verse, activities of Lord Kapila. He mentions Yanna Madeya Shravanana Kirtana Yad Prafana Yad Smarana Bhikvache Shvado Visadya Shavanaya Kalpate Puta Punaste Bhagavan Nudarshanat. To say nothing of the spiritual advancement of persons who see the Supreme Person face to face, like all of you just did. Even a person born in a family of dog eaters immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices if he once utters the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or chants about him, hears about him, his pastimes, offers him obeisances, or even remembers him. So this is the spiritual potency of chanting, hearing, or remembering the Supreme Lord. So this is the strength of the holy name of the Lord. This the Vishnu Dutas are extolling the virtues of the holy name, or glorifying. Extolling means glorifying. Glorifying the benefits of chanting the holy name as to how it can destroy the actions of sins which we cannot even dream of committing. We cannot think of committing. So in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a very powerful verse. Yadhatmesu samriddharesh karote dhamsi bhasmasad tatha madvishaya bhaktir uddhavanainamsi kirtanashaha. Oh, it says Krishnasaha, that is why. My dear Uddhava, just as a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, similarly, devotion unto me completely burns to ashes sins committed by my devotees. So when Ajamila kept chanting Narayana, 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 calling out his son, later on, scripture says Vivashaha, he was calling out of helplessness. He was calling out his son out of helplessness. He was not addressing the Supreme Lord. What is this called? This uttering called? What is this uttering of the holy name called? Without directly meaning the Lord, but calling out somebody. Sanketa, Namabhas, but of that there is called something called Sanketa Namabhas. And in conventionally it is called Sanketya, like in language. Hare, Hare, Radha, Radha, Sanketa, Sanketa Namabhas, Sanketya. In calling out to somebody or indicating somebody, he is calling out his son. He is not calling out Narayana. And Sanketyam parihasyam va stobham helanam eva va vaikunta nama grahanam ashesha agaharam viduhu. Ashesha agaharam. Aga means sin. Ashesha means completely. Nothing is left. Haram means destroys. What destroys? Scripture says, one who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins. Unlimited sins. Even if he chants indirectly to indicate somebody else. Indirectly he may be chanting. Or it is mentioned jokingly or for musical entertainment. There are many people who sing so wonderfully in TV serials or other places. I remember His Holiness Gopal Krishna Swami Guru Maharaj in 1980s in one of his lectures mentioned about a famous bhajan singer that we should not listen to all these sort of songs also. I don't want to name the person. So, Avaishnam Mukhodgirnam Putam Harikatamratam Shravanayama Kartam Satpochiksham Yatapaya. It is milk touched by the serpent, not fit for consumption. So it may look as the holy name. There is Ashraddha, there is no faith in it. This Ashraddha Namabhas may not really elevate us. But now, because of the fact that Ajamila was continuously chanting, right from the beginning when he chanted the name Narayana, the Lord had already accepted him. I wanted to say something very, very interesting. Yes, we'll just come to that. So, every time Ajamila would chant the name Narayana, his sins had already been destroyed with the chanting of the first name. Then how come he did continue with his sinful life, like living with a prostitute or using proper and improper means to support his wife's family? The Yamadutas are saying. So Acharya has mentioned there that just like a snake whose poisonous tooth has been removed, it does not really affect you when it hits you. But similarly, a devotee who's been purified by this, his sins are considered accidental. The Lord does not consider it very, very seriously. Yasham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrita is the key point. Nobody else is the shelter. I will only go to Krishna. Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Krishnaika Sharanam. Krishnarthat Akhila Cheshtita. Doing everything for Krishna, taking his unalloyed, uncompromising shelter. कोई समझौता नहीं. Uncompromising. Unalloyed. Ananya. परम भगवान का जिसने शरण ग्रहण किया है, that person, even if he commits some kind of sinful activities, it is considered accidental, just like the bite of a serpent whose fangs have been removed. But in bhakti, one can keep chanting these holy names. Haristane aparade kare harinam. One can commit many offenses while chanting the holy name, and they can be removed by chanting the holy name. No need to raise the volume, reduce the volume. I am raising the volume to allow people from waking up. I am helping them wake up. This is the natural voice. So, I know, I have been there. I can understand how difficult it is to stay awake. So I am not blaming anyone, just raise the voice. So, sorry? No, I didn't say I wanted to remember. Thank you. Thank you in any case. So, the fact remains that because of unequivocal devotional service to the Supreme Lord, even if one commits accidental sinful activities, they are overlooked by Bhakti Devi because she sees the overwhelming power of Bhakti. Except two offenses. Which are the two offenses? You can say. There are two offenses to the holy name which can be removed, which cannot be removed by just chanting the holy name. Which are those? Yes. Vaishnava Parad, Satam Nindam. And the second one? Namno Baladyasya Hipapa Buddhi. Committing sinful activities in the strength of the holy names of the Lord. And the first one, which is Satam Nindam. To blaspheme those devotees of the Lord who surrendered their lives to propagating the holy names of the Lord. These two sins are not easily forgiven. And Srila Haridas Thakur was at the house of Hiranya and Govardhan Majumdar, and it was mentioned in there, the glorification of the holy name. First they glorified Haridas Thakur, and then they glorified the holy name also. And they said that how the holy name can grant liberation, how the holy name can provide us anything above even Swargaloka, etc. So, Haridas Thakur said that these are incidental benefits, like the art of mind control. We teach seminars. But is the result of chanting the holy name just art of mind control? No, it is incidental. The real result, Srila Haridas Thakur says, is attainment of the love of God. Ekadina Balarama Minati Kariya Majundara Sabaya Thakura Laya. So Balaram Acharya, who was like a mentor to Govardhan and Hiranya Majumdar, he invited Haridas Thakur, with whom he had very good association. And Haridas Thakur was also very affectionate to Raghunatha, who was from the same family as the Majumdars. And then they both immediately got up and they fell at his feet. So they are respectful people, they understand. Hiranya and Govardhan Majumdar. Anika Pandita Sabai Brahmana Shajjana Dui Bhai Mahapandit Hiranya Govardhana. There are many Panditas, many scholars in that Sabha. Among them, Hiranya and Govardhan, they are also great scholars. They are not ordinary people. Haridas Irguna Sabe Kaha Panchamuke Shunyatu Dui Bhai Poila Bodasuke. So Haridas Thakur was glorified by everyone with 5 mouths. I guess we can understand that Mahadeva Panchamuke Rama Rama Hare Hare. Like Lord Shiva glorifies with 5 faces, Panchavatram. Similarly, everybody was glorifying like almost with 5 faces. And then it is mentioned, Tina Lakhana Madhagur Karina Kirtana Namera Mahima Uthai Pandita Gana. So the glories of the holy name was raised by the Panditas there. So Haridas Thakur chants 3 lakh names every day. Like Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Supreme Personality of Godhead, said during the disappearance pastime of Haridas Thakur, Shabadaya Jai 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 Haridas, Namer Mahima Karila Prakash. He glorified the holy name, Namer Mahima Karila Prakash. He distributed it everywhere. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called him Haridas Thakur. And please see, the person who is the Acharya of the holy name, it has nothing to do with his birth. We just mentioned how somebody born even in a family of dog eaters, he can become a Brahmana, he can become a Vaishnava by merely uttering the holy name, even once. And it's mentioned here that Keho bole nama hai te hai papak hai. So somebody says that all the sinful reactions are burned. And somebody else says the jiva gets liberation, he gets liberation. Then it said, Haridasa kohe na mer ehi dui phala. Okay, Haridasa kohe na mera ehi dui phala nai. Na mer phale Krishna pade prema upajai. These 2 benedictions. Name Krishna Pade Prema Upajai. Prema Upajai. Love springs forth in the heart. By what? Krishna Pade Prema Upajai. At the lotus feet of Krishna, love emanates. How? Namer Phale, the results of Nama. Namer Edui Phalnai. These are not the results of the holy name. What? Destruction of sinful reactions and liberation from the material existence. These are not just the results of the holy name. The real result of the holy name is you get love, Krishna Prema at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. That is the result. Evam Mritasva Priyanama Kirtya Jatanurago Drutachitta Uchai Hasatyato Rotirodhigaya Tunmadavan Nrityadi Lokabhya. So when a person is actually advanced in bhakti, then he takes pleasure in chanting the holy name. He sings, he dances, he goes wild, his hairs stand on end. the horripilating Romancha Kampa, Ashru Taranga Bhajo. All these results happen in a person who is chanting the holy name. Of course, that is why Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Nayanangalada Shrudharaya Vadanam Gaddarudhaya Gira Pulakair Nichitam Vapukada Tavanama Grahane Bhavishyati. When will the day come when they're merely chanting your holy name, the hairs stand on end on my body and my throat gets chottled by the holy name? When will that day come? When will that day come? Vapu kada, when will that happen? When the body becomes completely enervated, nourished, and hairs stand on end. Anusangika phalana nirmukti pavanasha taha drishtanta jaiche suryara prakasha. So, it is mentioned here, liberation and extinction of sinful reactions of life. These are two reactions. But these are just side reactions, just like the example of the sun, Haridas Thakur says. When the sun rises, it dispenses heat and light. But really speaking, just even before the sun has risen, just by the first rays of the sun, fear of ghosts disappears. Fear of thieves disappears. People start doing their morning activities with lot of nourishment and energy. So that is the nature of the sun. Quite similarly, by a mere abhasa, a glimpse of the holy name, one can be granted the topmost liberation and beyond the four types of mukti. We are not even talking about impersonal liberation. Salokya, Sarupya, Samitra, Sarshti, the four types of liberation. Even beyond this, one can go and one can be situated in love of God just by the chanting of the glimpse of the holy name. Namabhasa. Adhamo pittamam matva swamajno bhimaneshinam dushtam shiktopayam santu adishanama jalpani namabhaso prasididam. So Rupa Goswami says, Adhamopi uttamam matva, I am the most fallen, you are the greatest. Dushtam shishtopyayam santu vyadidam adhyapi. I am a wicked man, a most wicked person, most political person, and you are the greatest philosopher. Dushtam shishtopyam santu vyadidam adhyapi. Tadapyasmin kadachitvam adhisho nama jalpani. But, O Supreme Lord, who can be pleased and touched by just a glimpse of the holy name, Nama Bhaso Prasidadam, please have mercy on me, for I am trying to chant your holy name. I am trying, not chanting. Many of us are uttering Shuddhanam, many of us may be uttering Nama Bhasa, many of us again may be uttering Aparada Yukta Japa, Mantrakshara. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, we just uttering the Mantrakshara. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that one should meditate on mantra artha, go beyond the akshara, meditate on the mantra artha. So this atonement is sufficient. Other forms of atonement, it is mentioned in the purport of today's verse that in the 16th verse that we discussed today, the very important aspect that is mentioned in the purport, and I would like to highlight that here, that one should atone for the heaviest sins by undergoing heavy process of atonement, atone for lighter sins by undergoing lighter atonement. So, depending on the sin, there should be atonement. Like Subuddhi Roy was asked to drink piping hot ghee as atonement for being made an outcast by Nawab Hussain Shah. So then the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, you go to Vrindavan, you take the association of Vaishnavas, chant the holy name, serve the Vaishnavas. And he was doing it. All the yatris who used to come to Vrindavan, he used to serve them, whatever little Lakshmi he used to get, he used to serve them nicely and take them around and show them around Vrindavan. So, Srila Prabhupada shows his love for the holy name by exhibiting this pastime here, by mentioning it here. How Samba fell in love with the daughter of Duryodhana, Lakshmana, right? Lakshmana, her name was Lakshmana, not Lakshmana, Lakshmana. So, and naturally he had to show his Veera Rasa, he had to show his chivalrous valor, Prabhupada says. Chivalrous valor. They would not agree, the Guru would not agree, they would not accept him. So finally they captured him. And Lord Balarama asked them to release him and keep them together. But they wouldn't agree. So what did Lord Balaram do? With his plow, he started pulling Hastinapur gradually towards the Ganges or the sea. There are two descriptions given. The whole place started trembling. And the whole Hastinapur was supposed to sink into the water body. By the strength of Lord Balaram, it is mentioned, Jaladhara Sashivarno Gopavesho Kishoro Sahajara Gana Vrindo Kridamano Vrajesho Nata Varajida Vesho Nila Pitambaradyo Jagata Janana Heto Ramakrishna Natosmi. Krishna Balaram, they are Jagata Janana Heto, they are the cause of the birth of this whole world. They are Janana Heto. So why not Nashta Heto also? He can become the cause of the destruction of Hastinapur and the rest of the world also. That is the strength of Lord Balaram. Just as he demonstrated his strength, the holy name can also similarly powerfully remove all reactions to sins. That is mentioned. And Srila Prabhupada explains this pastime in detail, showing his love for the holy name. How powerful. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti doesn't mention this in detail, but Srila Prabhupada mentions this pastime in detail. It shows his love for the holy name. How powerful is the holy name? Just like Samba tried to reason with the Kurus, Balaramji himself tried to reason with the Kurus. Smaller methods like karma, jnana, etc. will not help us get released. But the holy name, just like Lord Balaram's personal intervention, can release us, can remove the fear of materialism, can put the fear of God in us. And from fear of God will come love eventually. In any case, the holy name is all powerful. And so when Haridas Thakur talked about the glories of the holy name, Gopal Chakravarti was there in the Sabha. He said, Krudhaha yabalese sarosha bachana bhavuker siddhanda shuno panditera gana. This is all sentiment. Bhavuker panditera shuno. This is all sentiment. Don't believe all this, Gopal Chakravarti said. So Haridas asked, Keno karaha samshaya, why are you doubting? Why are you doubting this? Bhakti sukha aage mukti aati tuchha hai. Atayava bhakta gana mukti nahi lai. Before bhakti, mukti and everything is insignificant. Therefore, one of the symptoms of bhakti is moksha laghutakrit. It considers liberation as too small. And then विप्रका है नामा भाष यदि मुक्ति ना है तबे तुम्हार नाक का काट के कह निश्चय. If one is not liberated by nama bhas, I will cut your nose. This Brahmana Gopal Chakravarti. Haridas Thakur accepted this challenge. यदि नामा भाष मुक्ति ना है तबे हमार नाक का काटी मो ऐसो निश्चय. For sure you can cut my nose if Nama Bhasa doesn't give mukti. And so Sunishabas Sad Ute Kori Hakar Majumdar Shai Vipra Korila Dikar. He was thrown out of his job. The Majumdar completely removed him. He was dismissed from everything, saying it's not going to happen. And then Shai Vipra Tyaga Korila, they sacrificed him, they left him. And then they said, Tabe se Hiranya Dasa Ninja Dora Aila, se Brahmane Ninja Dwarama Kaila. So they did not admit him to the house at all after that. Everybody went home. And they said something very, very dangerous is going to happen to you. They told. Tomara Sabar, then Haridas Thakur says, Toma Sabar Dosha Nahi Ei Agya Brahman, Tara Dosha Nahi Tara Tarka Nishtamana. His mind is fixed in logic. And Vedanta Sutra says, Tarko Apratishta. The absolute truth cannot be established by just logic. Prabhuji mentioned yesterday about earlier Sunday about Avriti Shabdat and Anavriti Shabdat. Anavriti Shabdat means sound that covers you with Maya and also envelops you completely. It keeps you entangled. Anavriti, it helps you disentangle and escape this material world. Therefore the Vedanta Sutra says Anavriti Shabdat. That is the glory of the holy name. So within 3 days, Tina Bhitare se Viprer Kushta Hoila Ati Uksha Nasa Taro Volia Padila. His nose got melted because of leprosy in 3 days. Because he doubted the efficacy of the holy name. And his whole body was practically destroyed. When Haridas Thakur came to know about it, he was very, very sad. Because it's mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that the Supreme Lord may forgive an offense to him. He will never forgive an offense to his devotee. Just like we keep saying the example that it's easy to tolerate heat at the feet when you are walking in the summer. Of course, Sadhurudaya Prabhu has arranged nice green carpets, but still it will be hot at the feet. But you can somehow tolerate that. It's far tougher to tolerate that heat. But at the head, if there is heat, hang on for some more time. Little bit walk for some more time. You can wear shoes and walk without a head cover or a cap or anything for some time. Even if you go on Rath Yatra, immediately you don't wear a cap. You wear shoes and walk for some time, and then it gets very hot, you wear a cap or you put your chadar on top. Similarly, devotees are at the lotus feet of Krishna. He cannot tolerate an offense to them. Satam Nindam. He can tolerate offense to himself, which is at his head. So therefore, to fully realize the glories of the holy name, we should take shelter of the holy name, chant the holy name, serve the Vaishnavas, and understand that the greatest atonement for all sinful reactions is chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There is no greater atonement than this. Kali Kalmasha Nashanam Nata Parataropaya Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. There's nothing beyond this. So we started the class at 8:20. I'm concluding the class at 9. If Prabhuji wants to speak something and others want to have some question, we can do that. Yes, Pandit Jilochan Prabhu. And Natwar Gopinath Prabhu. Is the mic for him? Good, you're chanting the holy name in your service. It is like this, the holy name is all powerful. मे बी आई शुड आंसर इन हिंदी इटसेल्फ प्रभु। हरिनाम सर्वशक्तिशाली है, पूर्णतः सक्षम है, पूर्णो शुद्धो नित्य मुक्तो भिन्नत्व नाम नामिना, पूर्णतः सक्षम है कि प्रत्येक जीव के अंदर जितने भी पाप हैं, जितने भी प्रकार के उसके कलमश हैं, उनकी निवृत्ति संभव है हरिनाम से। लेकिन क्योंकि आचार्य चाहते हैं हम श्रद्धा के साथ हरिनाम का उच्चारण सदैव करें, क्योंकि अश्रद्धा नामाभास हमें उद्धार नहीं करेगा। तो अश्रद्धालु के मुंह से हम हरिनाम सुनेंगे तो उसका नामाभास भी हमें मिलेगा, वो अश्रद्धा नामाभास के स्तर पे ही होगा। दूसरी बात, इससे हमें यह भी समझना चाहिए कि श्रद्धा नामाभास के स्तर पे और श्रद्धालु भक्तों के मुखारविंद से हमें हरिनाम का जप सुनना चाहिए। श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर बोलते हैं कि परिहास नामा हेला स्तोबा, गिरते हुए, हड्डियां टूटते हुए, ये सब उदाहरण जो बताए गए थे। इस परिस्थिति में नाम उद्धार कर सकता है, किसी व्यक्ति का शरीर त्यागता है। तो उस श्लोक के तात्पर्य श्री विश्वनाथ ठाकुर बोलते हैं कि कर्मी और ज्ञानियों के लिए लागू नहीं है। जो भक्ति का पालन कर रहे हैं लेकिन उतने उन्नत स्तर की भक्ति नहीं है, हरिनाम का जप सदैव कर रहे हैं, लेकिन दृढ़ श्रद्धा है कि हरिनाम के जप करने से मेरा उद्धार हो सकता है, ऐसे श्रद्धालु जन हरिनाम का उच्चारण करेंगे तो उनको लाभ होगा, स्वयं का हो। अगर दूसरा व्यक्ति जो बोल रहा है उसके अंदर ही श्रद्धा नहीं है, श्री राधानाथ महाराज बोलते हैं इट टेक्स वन टू मेक वन। इफ यू डोंट हैव भक्ति यू कैन नॉट गिव भक्ति, यू कैन नॉट ट्रांसफर भक्ति। भक्ति बिगिन्स विद भक्ति इज मेंशन्ड इन माधुर्य कादम्बरी कि भक्ति का उद्गम स्थान आध्यात्मिक सुकृति कुछ हद तक सुकृति है, सुकृति नहीं है क्योंकि सुकृति क्षण भंगुर है, नश्वर है। आध्यात्मिक सुकृति एक हद तक है। आप बोल सकते हैं यदृच्छया, लेकिन यदृच्छया मतलब कैसे हुआ उसको पता नहीं। अगर कृपा बोल रहे हैं भगवान की कृपा, तो भगवान की कृपा मतलब पक्षपात है, कुछ लोगों को देते कुछ लोगों को नहीं देते, तो कैसे इसको समझें? तो फिर हम इसको ऐसे समझें कि भक्ति भक्तों के हृदय में रहती है और भक्त अपने हृदय से भक्ति स्थानांतरित करते हैं, इसलिए नारदा बोलते हैं, नारायण को जो देते हैं। तो भक्त ही भक्ति दे सकते हैं। भक्तिषु भगवत भक्त संगे न परिजायते, अन्यथा भक्ति स्थानांतरित नहीं होती, क्योंकि मेरे में ही श्रद्धा नहीं है, मैं कैसे दूसरे को श्रद्धा स्थानांतरित कर सकता हूँ। दिस इज द अंडरस्टैंडिंग फ्रॉम शास्त्र। हाँ, लेकिन उसमें ये नहीं बताया कि आप आराम बोलेंगे मैं सुनूंगा तो मुझे कृष्ण प्रेम मिलेगा। तो बोले वाले व्यक्ति का लाभ वहां पर बताया गया। बट मैंने श्रवणम से जब शुरू करते हैं तो उतनी श्रद्धा किसी में नहीं कि हमें प्राप्त हो जाए, बिकॉज ये भी बताया जाता है कि बारिश सब जगह गिरती है लेकिन उपजाऊ जमीन पे पौधे जो है उगते हैं। सो देयर हैज टू बी a semblance of sukriti in us for us to get that kind of faith, which comes only from devotees. Prabhupada ने बताया था, you have no sukriti, I have given you sukriti. So how will you get bhakti otherwise? It is possible, but आचार्य ये भी बोलते हैं, इस प्रकार अजामिल का प्रसंग और इसे बताने का उद्देश्य ये है कि इस प्रकार परिहास स्तोभा हेला इतना सब करने से ही व्यक्ति को लाभ प्राप्त होता है। तो सटीक ध्यान पूर्वक उच्चारण करने से कितना लाभ होगा, इसलिए नाम की महिमा इस प्रकार से हम समझ सकते हैं। Would you want to add to this? Your servant.
You mentioned that first offense is 7 offense, serious offense, and इसमें शुरुआत से काम है, श्री ठाकुर की टीका देते हुए कहा है, इस प्रसंग में पहला मामला और सातवां मामला इसमें फिजिकल सफरिंग भी होता है।
हाँ, I missed that point.
That is something disease also, anything like that, physical. So, all serious offenses. First offense, second offense, of course, this is not some power. The third offense, so serious होता है, हो गया। तो हो गया मैं सारी नाम का But specifically, he has mentioned first offense and seventh offense. विश्वनाथ जी ठाकुर पहला नम अपराध सात नम अपराध करते हैं तो फिजिकल सफरिंग भी होता है. That is very dangerous. Physical suffering means that becomes an obstacle. You are able to chant every day. क्योंकि जो comfort level से आप chanting कर पा रहे तो नहीं कर पाएंगे. And there is physical suffering. So that becomes an obstacle. So one has to be very, very careful not to commit this offense. Especially he says first offense and seventh offense. बाकी जो offenses है वो तो नाम से ही उसका निवारण हो जाता है. लेकिन first offense and seventh offense, you have to do an extra effort by approaching a Vaishnava or take shelter of spiritual master. And gradually takes time. ज़्यादा समय लग जाएगा, लंबा समय लगेगा.
Thank you. This is amazing. I was mentioning this point about Haristane Aparande Tara Haranam, and then I spaced out. A blank out. I forgot that point. No, that point I continue. But this point, that's what is suffering. Before you take more credit.
Is that this point that suffering is mandatory. There you can keep chanting, but with the suffering for these two offenses, as Prabhu rightly pointed out. Other offenses, by constantly chanting, you can nullify those offenses. But for these two offenses, there will be suffering also, and there will be chanting. There should be chanting also. But the problem is, not all of us will be able to suffer and chant both at the same time. ये सफर उतना आसान नहीं है. Any other questions, Mataji's? Yes, Mother. Urmila Mataji. Give her the mic.
Thank you so much for the wonderful
Servant.
Usually, उसमें बैठे राजमा जब होते राजमा, उसमें भी भगवान जो है राम ने चाहा डाल देते हैं. कृष्ण इसको मशहूर. तो इसमें आप क्या करना चाहिए?
Rajma, Haram, they're all brothers. तो हम लोगों में जो कुछ लोगों को राजमा हराम है वैसे भी. तो बात यही माता जी कि जिसके हृदय में भक्ति है वही भक्ति स्थानांतरित कर सकता है. तो ऐसे व्यक्ति से श्रवण करेंगे तो जैसे आप मान लीजिए कि आप भक्ति में नहीं है, जो कि मैं सोच नहीं सकता, आपने कई साल से भक्ति में मेरे से पहले से, लेकिन मान लो कि आप भक्ति में नहीं है, आपने मेरे लिए प्रेम से अपने राजमा बनाया, तो आपने बोला मैंने ऋषि कुमार मैंने तुम्हारे राजमा बनाई, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू गेट एनी बेनिफिट. बट उर्मिला माता जी सेज, उर्मिला देवी दासी, डियर डिसाइपल ऑफ गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी महाराज सेज, Rishi Kumar, Prabhu, this Rajma I have cooked and offered to the Supreme Lord. This Rajma is very nice prasadam, please take it. I will benefit both ways. By taking the Rajma prasadam, I will benefit both in terms of taste and purification. I will also benefit by the fact that just by your uttering that name, even if you not said Krishna, by hearing from a devotee, I can benefit. This is no invitation for giving me Rajma, please don't misunderstand. But I am saying fundamentally it is to do with the presence of bhakti in the heart. Then it can make a difference. Or if you have sufficient sukriti, if you have sufficient ajnata sukriti in your heart, then it can make a difference. You can hear this little bit of it, like somebody goes nearby the temple, Mandir kahan hai? Mandir yahan. He may not even hear Krishna Mandir. He is getting some sukriti. And then gradually maybe next time he says, Krishna Mandir hai. And gradually he progresses. At that time, you come and tell him, take some Rajma Prasadam, then he will benefit. So, the consciousness has to be at the level to benefit. This is the understanding that I have. Yes. Mic for Adigopa Nimai Prabhu, who's been desperately trying to point out something very important. You must all congratulate Adigopa Nimai. He's one of the few people in the new group who's coming regularly to the altar for service. जोर से माइक पे बोलना.
जो भक्ति है तो हम बस एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं जो लोग आ रहे हैं उनको उस टाइप ऑफ प्रोवाइड करने के लिए. तो मेरे पास तो भक्ति मैं ऐसे पर्टिकुलरली क्या जैसे प्रभुपाद की बुक्स प्रभुपाद के लेक्चर्स सुनाऊं या रीडिंग पर्टिकुलरली भक्ति platform exactly what I do.
Yeah. Thank you. Very good question. I am not perfect. But if I perfectly follow the perfect, then I will become perfect and I can make others perfect. If I perfectly follow the perfect, even if I am imperfect, I will become perfect and I will make others perfect. The bridge doesn't have to reach the other side. The bridge can take others to the other side. 1. 2. Prabhupada mentioned this. Krishna is perfect, but because we are repeating what Krishna is saying, therefore we become. I may not be perfect, Prabhupada is saying. 2. Prabhupada says, I am there in my books. I will live forever in my books. What can 3 minutes of your preaching do? Even my book and his life will be changed forever. Point 2. Point 3. Our perfection lies not in being perfect. For us, our perfection lies in practice. How perfectly are we practicing? The closer we are to perfection in practice, the more we will be perfect in imparting that perfection in practice to others. Because everybody has to fly his own plane. मैं आपको हरिनाम जपने के लिए बोलता हूँ, ऐसे नहीं कि आप तुरंत आपके चतुर्भुज प्रकट हो जाएंगे, ना मेरे प्रकट होंगे ना आपके। तो इसे समझने वाली बात है कि मैं अगर मेरा अभ्यास सिद्ध स्तर पर भले ना हो, सिद्धि के पथ पर है मेरा अभ्यास, तो वो प्रक्रिया और विधि और प्रणाली में दूसरों को स्थानांतरित करता हूं, तो उस अभ्यास की सिद्धि के अनुरूप मेरी प्रगति होगी। तो मेरा अभ्यास सिद्ध हो, आपका अभ्यास सिद्ध हो, दोनों का अपना अपना चलाना ही है। राइट? अनलेस आई एम नित्य सिद्ध परिक्रमा, व्हिच आई एम नॉट। ठीक है, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, ग्रंथराज श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की, अजामिल चरित की, निताय गौर सीतानाथ प्रेमानंदे।